Sophie, for someone who doubted the quality of their practice sack, I'm very, very pleased with this. In particular, I'm pleased with the paragraph about camping that then went on to talk about the two poems from Kinsella where you looked at innocent animals being killed, and then made reference to the parrot deaths poem, and then again the chopping down of trees and referenced the chainsaw poem. I really, really liked those ideas because you talked there about how, you know, while your memory of a place was really good, and you choose to have those really great memories, you know, you still understand Kinsella's point that you know, with beauty comes decay, and often, you know, a negative influence for I hate the word negative, but you know, the fact that man can have, well, even while we're creating such positive memories, man can have a detrimental influence on the land around him. And I really like that idea. And I just put there at the end of that paragraph that, and purely because we probably haven't used it a lot in our vocab in class, there was a really good chance for you then to talk about your ambivalence towards these activities, or the way that you had a conscience dilemma almost, in that you were having such a great time camping, but yet you were still torn or weren't sure how you felt about the idea of killing animals for the sake of killing animals, or chopping down trees, even though it meant keeping you warm, you know. And that's what ambivalence means, you know, that not sure how you really feel about an idea, being torn between two ways of feeling. And another word for it is vacillate. You know, you vacillate between feeling one way, you know, on the one hand, I'm having such a great time here camping, we're sitting around the campfire, we're warm, but on the other hand, I hate the fact that we had to chop down a tree and destroy something for us to be able to make these terrific memories. So, you know, it was such a complex paragraph. It was terrific. I really think it was great. So, look, my advice for you is a bit more of that. I think use the sentence starter sheet that we gave out in class, the 4 columns, 14 options in each column. Really try and use that in your practice sacks, so you practice those linking phrases that help you develop an argument right through to the end. So use the sentence starter sheet. The other paragraph, or the other piece of advice for you is maybe start by getting straight into it. Try and avoid the universal we. Don't speak on behalf of everyone. We often do this. It is our experience that, you know, try and speak. I really like how towards the end of your first paragraph you actually got straight into a personal memory for you. All right, so that was really good. Try and make it, you know, your beginning interesting. Examiners always say if you can hook them in your first paragraph or two, you'll often get a pretty good result. Whereas if you start off boring, they're bored by the time they get to the good stuff at the end. All right, so try and start strong. And the last one is try and be clear with your main idea in each paragraph. And maybe a way of doing this is coming back to it when you wrap the paragraph up. And so your paragraph where you talked about hospitals, that started off really good because I thought that was a terrific example of a way that memory, you know, really influences our response to a place. But then towards the end, when you brought in the poem Grave, you started to talk about, you said, you know, this throwaway line about may show the disrespect of animal life, you know, because the dead sheep are there. And that really wasn't the point that you started off making with hospitals. The point you started off making with hospitals is that for you, you'd had these experiences there, and you know, you can't see hospitals as a place of hope and life now. You see them as a place of death. And I think, you know, when you brought in Grave, that was an excellent example. But the point you should have made with Grave there was, well, in the poem Grave, Kinsella also, you know, talks about being unable to escape death that is around him in a cemetery. Even when he goes for a walk to get away from the emotion of the person who's visiting Craig, he stumbles across more dead animals. So even though, you know, if your point was about dead animals in the first place, then you could have very well, you know, very easily talked about humans' disrespect for animals, but that wasn't really the point that you started off making at the start of the paragraph. So really try and be consistent and be clear in your own head. What's the idea that I'm going to talk about in this paragraph? And then make sure that you kind of stay on that track and explore that idea thoroughly. Don't get off tangent, you know, by talking about Kinsella's suggestion that man doesn't respect animals dying, because went off on a little tangent there, I think. But this is some really good stuff here, and I think a little bit more practice. Maybe another practice sack, practice those sentence starters, and you could write a really good expository reflective piece for the sack on Tuesday.